Welcome to the Uncharted 4 primary gun guide. Now in this gun guide we'll be going over every primary weapon that's in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. We'll be giving our opinions on it. We'll also be giving some stats for the weapons themselves, allowing us to then decide which one would best suit your playstyle. For each weapon we're going to show the official stats that are actually given inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. We're going to also show stats that we have tried to calculate up ourselves as well when it comes to terms with the damage and the reload speed times. Also, we're going to try and give our opinions on which hero weapons we'd recommend you to aim for when it comes to each individual weapon, and also some extra additional information as well. To start, we'll be talking about the AK-47. Now this is the first gun you unlock in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer when it comes to the primary guns in the game. Here you will see the official stats taken from the game itself, which anyone can see when they're playing the game. What we've also tried to do is show an easier representation of the weapons itself and how the damage fares and also how the recoil fares as well. So you'll get to see all of this throughout this video, and that'll be for each weapon. The AK-47 is a 3-hit headshot down, providing that you had perfect accuracy when it comes to shooting your enemy. Following that, it's a 8-hit body shot down, providing you hit all your shots on the enemy's body, then it's an instant down. This isn't the weakest damage of every primary weapon in this game, however it is at the lower end of the scale when it comes to the highest damage of the primary weapons. Continuing on, the magazine size of the AK-47 is reasonable once again. Paired with this damage model, you should be able to take down from 1 to 2 enemies without any hassle at all, without having to reload also. If you had to reload at any situation in time, the reload is 3 seconds. Now this, once again, it isn't the fastest reload of each of the weapons in the game, but it most certainly isn't the worst. Now taking a look at the recoil pattern of this weapon, it's more or less a vertical recoil. There is a bit of side sway there, but majority of the recoil is vertical. Now this is easily handled by just dragging your right analog stick down, and that alone should compensate for the majority of the recoil of the AK-47. The hero weapon I would aim to unlock for the AK-47 would be Sully's AK. This provides you with 2 mods, the starting ammo to be increased and the aim strafe speed to be also increased. Increasing the strafe speed allows you to avoid bullets better. Also when you're firing at an enemy, this gives you a bit of margin for error, so if you do miss some shots, you're not going to have to go running about looking for more ammo.
Down.
Next up is my number 1 go-to gun, the FAL. Now the FAL is a 3-round burst rifle. This is once again an assault rifle. The FAL has fantastic accuracy and really good damage model. When you're aimed in, the scope sway isn't that bad with the accuracy, however when you've got the second level scope in where the red dot is, and you've got enemies firing at you, there's plenty of scope sway there to make your shots go all over the place. It does require the user to either be fairly skilled overall at the Uncharted multiplayer, or have had a lot of practice with the FAL. What compensates for this is the damage model. So 1 burst to the head gives you an absolute down, which in essence is 3 bullets. Otherwise it's a 2 burst body shot down, once again providing that your accuracy is perfect. So that would really eliminate your enemy very quickly. And considering the range on the FAL is fantastic, it makes it overall a well-rounded gun. Now where the gun does fall slightly is when you're on one-on-one medium range gun battles with a full auto rifle. Now this is where your skill will come into play and your trigger finger being reasonably fast, as this is a burst rifle weapon. The magazine capacity is more than enough within the margin of error to take down up to 3 enemies. Taking a look at the recoil pattern of the FAL, the grouping is very tight, so this means you can focus on nailing your shots on target instead of trying to control the recoil of the gun. The reload time of the FAL is 2.5 seconds, so this is faster than the AK-47, however it's not much faster, so anyone using the AK shouldn't be too concerned. The recommended hero weapon would be Rafe's FAL. This includes increased reload speed and a reduced recoil. Now with the reduced recoil, you may as well be firing laser beams at your gun because the recoil of this gun is already so low. The increased reload speed means you can reload as quick as possible and continue to fire at your enemies, and you don't really need an extended magazine for this gun, as I mentioned before.
Feeling a little down, are we?
Moving on to the LDR. The LDR is the first and only bolt-action sniper rifle in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. I often don't see players use the sniper rifles in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. However, when I do see players use it, they're often skilled players. As it is a bolt-action sniper rifle, the damage is very high, and that allows you to then down an enemy with one headshot or 2 body shots. Each magazine consists of 5 bullets, which makes it possible to down 5 enemies. Considering you had perfect accuracy and you got all headshots, you can down the full enemy team. Being a bolt action sniper rifle does come with its downsides, however. The reload time is 5 seconds long, and this is the longest reload time for the primary weapons inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. So I do not recommend you get caught off guard trying to reload because it will take you some time. Quickscoping is a difficult task with the LDR. You do require the LDR's scope in speed to be increased, however that is in the form of a mod, so you can do that. Taking a look at the recoil pattern for the LDR, there is no recoil per se since it is a bolt action sniper rifle. All the shots are more or less landing on the same target and spot, and that's how it should be. The hero LDR I would recommend you unlock is Nadine's LDR. Now you get increased starting ammo, which allows you to then miss some shots. You also get scope in speed increased, so you'll be able to hit off those quick scoping shots, and once again, like I said, you can afford to miss a few shots here and there.
Down for the count.
The MP34A is the first submachine gun in the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. Now the submachine guns do differ from the assault rifles with a higher recoil, a higher fire rate, and also the aim strafe speed is much faster on the submachine guns. The MP34A is good at close to medium range, has reasonable damage, and cannot really be used at longer ranges. I mean, I have seen some people pull it off, but it is quite difficult to control the recoil, which you will see later on in this video clip. So the damage model produced from the MP34A is a headshot down of 4 bullets and a body shot down of 6 bullets. Now, comparing that to the damage model of the AK-47, it's very close. However, considering that this weapon does have a higher fire rate, you know which one's going to be winning in the closer range battle. The reload time on the submachine guns is also faster. The MP34A is currently sitting at a reload time of 2 seconds. So this is much faster than the previously mentioned gun, and it actually is the fastest reload speed for the primary weapons in this game. So there's not really a need for an extended magazine or even the reload speed mods on the gun. However, what I would recommend is blind fire accuracy increased and accuracy increased. Now this will allow you to get better long range kills, and the blind fire of this weapon, as you can already imagine, is fantastic since it is a submachine gun. And this comes in the form of Drake's MP34A. A quick look at the recoil pattern will show that it is a very high vertical recoil, however there is horizontal recoil there as well. The reason for that is this is intended to be used as a close range weapon. The vertical recoil is easily countered by dragging your right analog stick down. Counteracting the horizontal recoil is going to require you to drag your right analog stick either to the left or to the right, depending on where your enemy's moving.
If I were you, I'd just go home. Down and out.
The Mettler is similar to the FAL, however it's a semi-automatic assault rifle. It does substantial damage, the accuracy is fantastic, and also the recoil is very low. The Mettler is much similar to the FAL. It also has a secondary scope in, so you can actually see your enemies further afield. With the Mettler being semi-automatic, timing is everything, as the recoil does bounce up if you decide to fire too quickly. If you time your shots right, you should be able to kill your enemies without any hassle at all. Similar to the FAL, the damage of the Mettler is really good. The headshot downs is 3 bullets to the head, and the body shot downs is 5 shots to the body. You should be able to down 2 to 3 enemies with the same magazine. However, once you start reloading, it is a 3-second reload, which once again is quite a long time, and that matches up with the AK-47. The Mettler is definitely more effective in long to medium range. At close range, it's definitely possible to blind fire with this weapon, since it is semi-automatic. However, it won't be as good as any full auto gun, and the blind fire accuracy isn't actually as good as any of the submachine guns. The hero weapon I would aim to unlock for the Mettler would be Nadine's Mettler. Now that includes a reduced recoil and also quicker reload speeds. Now once again, with the quicker reload speeds, it just shortens down that reload time of 3 seconds, even though the weapon doesn't really need it. However, when you are scoped in, the reduced recoil will definitely help at longer range battles, and it should even allow you to put up a substantial fight against an enemy with a sniper rifle. I would recommend the Mettler to more experienced players. However, if you do prefer to use semi-automatic weapons, then feel free to use the Mettler. Moving on to talk about the XCR. The XCR is the second submachine gun inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. This one has slightly worse off recoil, however it is much better for close range combat than the MP34A. The rate of fire of the XCR is actually much faster than the MP34A, but to compensate for this, the damage model is less. So once again, with perfect accuracy for a headshot only down, it would take 8 bullets, and for a body shot only down, it would take 10 bullets. At close range, I would recommend the XCR over the MP34A because the blind fire accuracy is really good, and also the rate of fire is much faster, so you're scaring your opponents as you're actually shooting them as well. Now the only difference there is the MP34A actually has a manageable recoil pattern. To attempt to get a medium range kill, you'd actually get it with the MP34A, whereas with the XCR it would be a very difficult chore. This is just sheerly due to the recoil pattern. Because the recoil pattern is so obscure with this gun, it's really difficult to try and control it. It is varying a lot all the time. I mean, sometimes it will sway to the right, sometimes it will sway to the left. You won't actually know how to control this, and that is why it's only recommended for close range. This is a submachine gun, so the reload time is 2.5 seconds, which is pretty quick compared to some of the other weapons in the game. Once again, not the fastest, but definitely not the slowest. I would recommend Sam's XCR if you're trying to unlock a hero weapon. It gives you quicker reload speeds, and it also gives you increased blind fire accuracy. Now, increasing the blind fire accuracy on the XCR would make it an absolute fantastic weapon for close range. The increased reload speed means when you're blind firing your enemies and you do run out of bullets, you are in close range, so you want to be reloading as quick as possible to get that next magazine in to then finish off your enemy. I'm not saying it's impossible to pull off a medium range kill with the XCR. I have seen it done before, but you need to be really skilled at controlling that recoil. The Copperhead is quite a special gun in this game because of its scope in. It has a secondary scope in, it doesn't have a medium sort of range scope, which every weapon seems to have. So even though the recoil was so low on this gun, and it could be very effective at medium range, I think because this gun would be extremely effective at medium range, and that's where most gun battles tend to happen, so they tried to balance it out just to make sure it wasn't overpowered. However, if you were trying to blind fire an enemy, it is not a problem at all since it is a fully automatic gun. Moving on to discuss the damage of the Copperhead, we could have seen a medium range scope of this gun. The reason why is because the damage is pretty high, and if they decide to reduce the damage a bit more, a fantastic low recoil medium range gun. So for headshot only downs, it's 6 headshots, and for body shot downs, it's 8 body shots. Compared to the AK-47, the damage is much lower. However, you're getting a much better accuracy rating. All they had to do was increase the amount of bullets by 2 on the headshots and the body shots. That would then allow it to have a medium range scope and then balance it out as well with the rest of the weapons. I see a lot of potential in the Copperhead, however it doesn't get used as often as it should, and that's because they're forcing you to use a long range scope to try and get medium range kills, and that's what's making it annoying for quite a lot of people. But it's definitely not a bad gun, and it is very usable if you know what to use it for. The character weapon I would recommend you unlock is Sam's Copperhead. Now what this will give you is reduced scope sway, so when an enemy's shooting at you and you're in that full in zoomed mode, your bullets are not going all over the place. And also it gives you reduced recoil, so once again it's improving your chances of hitting your shots on target. The reload time for the Copperhead is actually 2 seconds, which is quick enough. And you don't need to add any extra mods for increased magazines or reduced reload times. The Spezzotti is the only shotgun primary weapon inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. Now from my experience, I really wouldn't recommend a shotgun as a primary weapon to anyone, however there's people who do enjoy using it. I honestly don't think it matches up with the blind fire accuracy of any of the submachine guns in this game, or even some of the sidearm pistols in the game. However, covering this, the damage of it is a 2-hit headshot and a 2-hit body shot, so obviously it's consistent throughout. So there is a small animation that takes place between each shot being fired, and this is valuable time where you could actually be getting shot at. In general, Uncharted 4's blind fire accuracy isn't as good as it was in Uncharted 3, and this has rendered the shotgun a bit useless as it fires quite slowly and not as quick as some of the other weapons. Only having 4 bullets in a magazine means you would definitely need to land off 2 of those shots to down your enemy. Under the right hands, this could be a very deadly weapon, however you do need to understand how to play the game correctly, and I'd recommend scoping in and then firing at your enemy at close range, and that's probably the most effective way to use the shotgun. So once again, you definitely need to land off all your shots when you're firing at an enemy because the reload time is pretty long. It basically is 1 second for each shotgun shell being loaded back into the chamber, so 4 seconds in total. If you've only fired off 1 shot and you only need to reload 1 shot back into the chamber again, it's only going to take you 1 second. So unless the enemy's taking fire from either your sidearm or another teammate, it's impossible for you to kill that enemy with only 1 shotgun shell. Rave Spezzotti is the hero weapon I'd recommend you unlock. It gives you quicker reload times, which would obviously reduce that 4 second full reload time, and it also gives you increased blind fire accuracy. Once again, like I said, the blind fire accuracy on the shotgun is not too good, so anything that would increase that would definitely help you in close range. Even though shotguns may seem easy to use, it does take a bit of skill to understand how to use the Spezzotti and use it very effectively. Moving on to the HS-39, which is another fully automatic assault rifle. A lot of people like to use this weapon because it actually has a higher rate of fire than the AK-47. To compensate for this, they increased the recoil of the gun. The HS-39 is actually quite popular, and a lot of people do enjoy using it, and I can see why. It's a very all-rounded good gun, and once again it's an assault rifle similar to the AK-47. So the damage model on this is a 3-hit headshot down and a 10-hit body shot down. It has a 2.5 second reload time, which is actually better than the AK-47, and this is good to hear since this is a very all-rounded good gun if in the hands of a very skilled player. Now the only thing that you need to be skilled about is the long range portion of this gun. Just controlling that recoil is all you need to do. At medium range this gun is absolutely fantastic, and also at close range blind firing with this gun, because the rate of fire is so high, is not an issue at all. The magazine is enough to take down up to 2 enemies with the same magazine, and that's without any attachments, and that is providing that you also miss some of your shots as well. Elena's HS-39 is the hero weapon I'd recommend you unlock. It gives you increased clip capacity, which would then allow you to kill more enemies with the same magazine, and it also gives you aim strafe speed to be increased, which I would recommend for any assault rifle inside this game. At medium range, as much as shooting your enemy is extremely important, equally as important is trying to avoid getting shot at to allow you to stay alive longer to then take on more enemies. Already the HS-39 is a very popular gun, so there's not really much I need to say about it. That's providing that you don't already have one in a loadout already. And similar to the AK-47, this is a well-rounded gun. The only thing you need to watch out for is the long range and trying to reduce that recoil.
You're out, mate.
Finally, the M14 is a semi-automatic sniper rifle, or as I would like to call it, a DMR, Designated Marksman Rifle. In my opinion, this gun could be really useful in the hands of a really skilled player that is good at supporting his teammates, and support is the only real reason to use this gun. For long range kills, the LDR is probably the best way to go as it takes much less shots to kill an enemy, and even when an enemy is shooting at you, there's slightly less scope sway with that gun. The benefit to the M14 is that it does have a much quicker reload time of 2.5 seconds, so it matches up with the assault rifles and some of the submachine guns. Now the damage model for the M14 is a 2-hit headshot, whereas the LDR is a 1-hit headshot, and is a 3-hit body shot, whereas the LDR is a 2-hit body shot. Similar to the Mettler, timing is everything with this gun. Probably even more important with the M14 than it is with the Mettler. The reason why is you won't see much recoil with the M14, however because you are scoped in, it is quite difficult to land off that second and even third shot with the gun. And you do need to time your shots well so that it does land on your enemy and doesn't just bounce all over the place. 8 bullets in a magazine means if you land all headshots you should be able to take down 4 enemies, and only 2 enemies if you're landing only body shots. And as you can imagine, the blind fire accuracy for this gun is not too great. I know it is semi-automatic, but it's not as fast as the Mettler shoots, so you won't be landing any shots on your target at all with blind fire. Now unless you want to be basically a marksman for your team, which I don't see why anyone would, since there is basically a sniper rifle sidekick that would do that job for you anyways, and we will go on to talk about the sidekicks in a different video. There's no real reason to actually use the M14 at all. However, the recommended character weapon would be Elena's M14, and that reduces the scope sway when you are shooting your enemy, so you're landing most of your shots on target. And it also gives you a silencer so you can stay in a position for quite some time without being detected by the enemy's minimap.
Hurts, yeah?
Before ending the video, I've just recently found this out, that the Uncharted 4 multiplayer does contain a damage drop-off. So some of these damages that I'm giving you might not be 100% accurate over a certain range, but I'm not 100% too sure what the ranges are, so that's why I don't want to give you that information in case it's incorrect. We will be looking to review the sidearm pistols inside the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, the mysticals, the sidekicks and also the heavy weapons, so definitely watch out for those videos that are coming soon. So while you watch the gameplay of the best clothesline ever of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I want to thank you a lot for watching the video. Now if you did enjoy, definitely like the video. Also, if you want to see more things like this, definitely subscribe as well if you're new. Also, I definitely recommend you follow us on Twitter if you're not already. On there you'll get to see behind the scenes and also any teasers for new videos that are up and coming. So thanks for watching.